So let's talk a little bit about rest. So it made me think about this conversation. And I said, you know what? I am going to go live because this might be something that someone needs to hear tonight. And Queen, I caught you live and I was listening. And that's important too, to listen sometimes. There's a time for talking and then there's a time to listen, right? So I was really taking in what you were sharing with us, Queen, talking about stress. And my takeaway from that was toxic stress. And so this to me is the part B to that conversation. And it is sleep and rest. Sleep and rest. So that's where I'm going to be coming from this evening. Y'all welcome in, welcome in, welcome back. Welcome back. I appreciate you checking me out. I appreciate you double tapping that screen. Because it's March 31. Today is the last day of March, and I have been meaning, it was on my list. On the door to my garage, I have a sign, and it is a list of possible topics for me for my YouTube channel. I'm a new YouTube content creator in these YouTube streets. And one of the conversations I wanted to have during the month of March was about sleep and rest, because March is National Sleep Awareness Month. I don't know if you were aware of that, but March was National Sleep Awareness Month. And if you recall, February was National Go Red for Women Heart Health Month. So think about that powerful connection. February was National Go Red for Women, talking about the high incidence of women with heart problems and women's heart health. And then that leads right into the month of March, and March being National Sleep Awareness Month. So let's talk a little bit about sleep. And to me, the bridge to that is then rest. And we're going to look at the work of a Black woman in particular. If you've not heard of her, I'm happy to introduce her to you. Dr. Tricia Hersey. Tricia Hersey. And the title of her seminal work is Rest is Resistance. Think about that for a moment. It's a powerful statement. Rest. Think about rest. Not just sleep, but rest as an act of resistance. Rest as an act of resistance. Mm-hmm. This is a word for this moment, right? In this country. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. This is a word. This is a discussion for this moment, for such a time as this. Mm-hmm. Yeah, that part. So let's start with some myths about this idea of sleep. This idea of sleep. So I'm going to read you the statement, and you drop into the chat. Is this fact or is it fiction? Fact means it's a true statement. Fiction means that it's a myth. It's untrue. Think about sleep. Sleep is a time when your body and brain shut down for rest and relaxation. Is that true? Is it a fact? Or is it a myth? Drop in the chat. Sleep is a time when your body and brain shut down for rest and relaxation. Is that a myth or is that a fact? Sleep is a time when your body and brain shut down for rest and relaxation. Is that a fact or is that a myth? So you can say, is that true or false? So this is actually a false statement. hmm So it is true that every major organ in the body, especially the brain, shuts down during sleep, or it goes into a lower setting of itself to, in fact, give the body time to rest and rejuvenate, recover from what? Stress. That stress that Queen was talking about earlier this evening. However, there are some psychological and physical processes that become more active during sleep. Hormones become more active during sleeping times. Think about that. So, in that respect, that's a false statement. But still, your body requires regular sleep and regular rest. Mhm. Is this a true statement or is it a false statement? Here's the next one. People need less sleep as they get older. Is that true or is that false? People need less sleep as they get older. Is that a true statement or is it false? Stardust Dreamer, I see you. I see some yeses. I see some trues. People need less sleep as they get older. Is that a true statement or is it a false statement? People need less sleep as they get older. Y'all, this is actually a false statement. What happens as we age, as we grow up and do this thing called adulting, what happens is people tend to sleep less, right? We tend to sleep less as we get older. Think about as you raise children. Someone asked in the chat, what are we talking about? We're talking about rest and we're talking about sleep. hmm Because March is National Sleep Awareness Month, and I, Kendi K, all day, I did not want this month to end without having a conversation about sleep as part of your overall health and wellness, and this idea that rest is so important to that sleep process. It's one thing to go to sleep, it's a whole nother to get rest, to get rested. So we find that adults tend to sleep less than children. Because think about it, as you're raising children, and especially school-age children, you try to have them on a schedule, right? Because, newsflash, everybody thrives on routines, right? We are just better people when we establish a routine. And usually that routine in the night is eat your dinner. We might get an hour of gaming in 2025, okay? We need to be limiting that blue screen time though. We need to be limiting that blue screen time for children and for adults, self included. And then there's the bath time, there's the brushing of the teeth, there's all those things so that children can be what? In the bed at a certain hour to ensure they get about 8 hours of sleep. But then adults, instead of doing the same thing, following through with our routines, what do? Okay, now I'm going to do a couple of loads of laundry. Okay, now I'm going to be a YouTube content creator. Okay, now I'm going to do some meal prep. All of the things of the things of the things. Yeah. Rest and relaxation is an island. I love that, Stardust. Y'all think about that. Rest and relaxation are an island that I'm trying to get on. I like that. Y'all, thank you for joining my live this evening. We're just talking about rest as an act of resistance during March, on this last day of March, National Sleep Awareness Month. Let me tell you about the work of Tricia Hersey. I'm going to share just a couple of her quotes and we'll just talk about them if you don't mind. Rest is so important, y'all. We get as much rest as possible, and I think we all know that that's about 8 hours of sleep. It's necessary for a child, for their brain, for their overall growth and wellness, and that is true also for adults. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Keep that in mind. Loving ourselves, this is what Tricia Hersey says about rest as an act of resistance. Loving ourselves and each other deepens our disruption of the dominant systems. The dominant systems. Think about all the turmoil that's happening in our country at this moment. They want us unwell, fearful, exhausted, and without deep self-love, because you are easier to manipulate when you are distracted by what is not real or true. I'm gonna read that one again because that was good, y'all. Think about it. Think about in this moment, in this moment, in this United States of America. Okay? I'm talking to American citizens right now for a second. If you're not an American citizen right now, you can close your ears for just a second. Loving ourselves and each other deepens our disruption of the dominant systems. They want us unwell. They want us fearful. They want us exhausted, says Tricia Hersey, and without deep self-love, because you are easier to manipulate when you are distracted by what is not real or true. Something to think about, y'all. Just something to think about. Treating yourself with care shouldn't be a luxury, but an absolute necessity if you're going to thrive. Rest should not be an afterthought, but it should be a basic part of being human. When I think about other cultures throughout the world that value rest, why is it that we work all throughout the week, all throughout the weekend? American countries in this United States, many of them work 3 shifts. First shift, second shift, third shift. Do you realize that we're the only culture that does that throughout the world? All other cultures value the idea of rest. They have a very strong sense of work ethic. And yet we tie one's usefulness to how much they give of themselves to the point of exhaustion. Y'all, I think it's time that we learn to resist the machine. Thank you, Stardust. Thank you for dropping in with us. I appreciate you. Thank you for the hearts. I see those hearts. Y'all, we're over here just talking about rest as an act of resistance and the importance of rest. The importance of rest. March is National Sleep Awareness Month, and I did not want March to get out of here without taking some time to talk about this important issue. Yeah, we're all on YouTube, and most of the time we're just trying to escape all the foolishness going on in this country and this world. But y'all, sometimes we got to take some time and make some time to talk about some real topics too, right? Right. Home Slice. I'm not sure that we've met yet, so I wanted to introduce myself to you, Home Slice and the Skillet Show. I cook a lot of things. I have my favorite skillet, Home Slice. So I thank you for joining in on my live, and yeah, y'all, rest as an act of resistance. There's a lot going on, right? To the point that I don't regularly watch the news. I'm proud to say that because I am resisting the foolishness. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. I'm resisting the foolishness. Yeah. So you all tell me, what do you do to rest? Anybody? Drop that in the chat. What do you do to rest? And when we talk about sleep, because March is National Sleep Awareness Month, sleep and rest are not the same thing. Think about that. There's sleep and then there's rest. They're not the same thing. Many of us are sleeping, but we're not getting fully rested. Not getting fully rested. Many times people have to take medications in order to go to sleep. But yes, they may fall asleep because of that prescription medication. But is their body resting? Usually that's a no. Yeah, we're just over here talking about sleep and rest because March, the whole month of March, is National Sleep Awareness Month. And I think this is an indicator to adults that, folks, we need to make sure we're getting good rest. Good sleep leads to better rest and a better health and wellness for all of us. Okay, Alan Gambling says, I don't like eating and sleeping. You always wake up hungry. Okay. Okay. Thank you for joining us, Home Skillet. I appreciate you. Y'all, thank you for dropping into the live. I'm a new YouTube content creator and fairly new to doing lives. I don't know that I've done a total of maybe 10 or 12 lives, and I've done 2 lives so far today, I believe. Yeah. Yeah, thank you for dropping in and joining in. Consider subscribing to Kendi K all day. I'm a new YouTube content creator in these YouTube streets. I've been on YouTube for about a year now. Actually, April will be a year and 4 months. And it's so funny that in 2024, I really thought I was doing YouTube and I would upload about one video a week or so. And then it wasn't until late October, early November where I said, you know what? I think I really do want to grow my channel. I really do think that I like being a YouTube content creator. Day. Happy Sleep Awareness Month. March is National Sleep Awareness Month. So I invite you to get more sleep and rest in your life. And sometimes taking some time out, putting your feet up like I have my feet up right now, just to get myself a little rest and relaxation, sometimes that's what you need. Oh, 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 okay. Y'all, thanks for joining me for the live. Go ahead and tap, tap, tap. Hit that like button for me if you don't mind. This is Candy K. All day. Y'all, I made a meatloaf earlier, and I made a meatloaf on my live earlier this evening, and so I just need to go in and set it. When you end the live, it automatically goes private. I just need to set that back on public. So you'll have to check that out. I'll probably do that after I end this live, make that one public. I do a lot of cooking on my channel. I do a lot of product reviews, a lot of shopping hauls. I do really it's just me living life and sharing that on YouTube. I'm really trying to grow my channel, and I kind of like interacting with people. It's kind of fun getting to learn about different cultures, different people. That worry is the main cause of insomnia, or is that false? True or false? The main cause of insomnia is worry. Y'all, that in fact is false. There are many reasons that people have insomnia. It could be related to worry. It could also be related to depression, medical issues, asthma, arthritis, so many other things. So if you are not sleeping consistently, if you have trouble falling asleep and staying asleep, then you really should discuss that with your doctor. It could be part of a bigger symptom. And let's do one more. Snoring is a normal part of sleep. Thanks for the hearts. I appreciate that. Is that true or is that false? Snoring is a normal part of sleep. March is National Sleep Awareness Month. And I encourage you to focus not just on sleep, but rest as well. Is it true or false? Snoring is a normal part of sleep. That answer, friends, is false. It is not normal to snore. It might be normal for you to snore, but it's not normal to snore, and you should not be snoring. Snoring is a sign of some deeper breathing issues and might even be a symptom of sleep apnea, where people can stop breathing. during their sleep time. So if you are having some snoring issues, or if you snored all your life, then you may need to see the doctor and have a sleep study done. You could have a sleep disorder or an additional medical issue. Y'all, March was Sleep Awareness Month, and so I had it on my list of content to create, and so I just thought that I would get that done before March was over. You have to go to work in the morning. I'm working tomorrow too. So it's important that we get good rest so that we can do our best on our jobs. Sleep and rest are important. Y'all, this is Kendi K all day. Thanks, y'all, for rocking with me. I appreciate that. Y'all, I'm going to wind down so that I can get ready to go to sleep so that I can rest. And I am practicing rest as an act of resistance to all that is going on in these United States at this moment. We got a lot going on, and none of it is good. Yeah. So we should, in fact, be practicing, just as Tricia Hersey has said. We're going to rest as an act of resistance to all of the foolishness going on in this world. Now, that last part, the foolishness going on in this world and in these United States, that was me. Y'all, this is Kendi K all day. Y'all, I'm going to log off right here, but thank you all for joining me for another live. Thank you. I'm new to all of this, but I'm enjoying the journey. Thank you so much.